True. However,
You're wrong. And I did it because I'm so hip.
Yeah, right.
And I'm so in tune.
He plays Fortnite all the
Has
time.
any hip person ever said, I'm so hip?
I'm so rad.
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I think that's the goal. You gon' take the mark. I take never rolls. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
Start. Here we go. Let's fucking go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're turning on the fucking energy.
Boom.
Ian. What do you think about that? All right.
It's like
Subscribe.
a light switch in this.
Here we go.
motherfucker.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
All right. Here we go. Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I am your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, Zach Grady. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Matt.
You
what's
like
up?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing special. No extra sauce on that bitch. Just Zach Grady. What up?
That's fine.
And of course, my lovely wife, Lindy. Welcome to the show, honey.
Hi, thank you.
I always have such a hard time with that. Everyone knows. My lovely wife is kind of a tongue twister
It is.
deal.
Sally
You say it.
sells,
Say lovely
she
wife.
sells down by the seashore.
Yeah. Lindy loves Legos down by the legs store.
Something.
Lakeshore.
By the lake shore. Yes. Lindy lays Legos down by the lake shore. I could say that better than my lovely
I
wife,
was
Lindy.
just about to say, you say that better than
Yeah.
my lovely wife, Lindy.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. And of course, Ian behind the scenes over there. Welcome. There he is. Welcome, buddy. All right, so starting off, I want to introduce our show a little bit differently today. Number one, as always, Ian wants me to make sure I say smash that subscribe button and like it and tap the bell and share and subscribe.
Beautiful.
You know the shit.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things you're supposed to do to promote the show. Do that for us because we, as a collective, appreciate it. And in addition, we also feel like we are pursuing a massive purpose of perhaps doing our part to save the fucking world and save America. So if you like and subscribe and share, you are essentially saving the world. So save the fucking world and like and share our show, right?
Amen.
Did I nail that? Okay.
Nailed it.
Before I get into, so we've been doing multiple formats on our show. It's been kind of erratic, and as we got started in the first 30.
This episode 32?
Yeah, so the first 31 episodes, plus we have a couple ghost episodes, which will never see the light of day.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, those are Bruno, and we don't talk about Bruno. So we've got a couple of those, but 30 some odd episodes, we've kind of been erratic. We have put some organization to it, of course, with the theme. But before we get started on that, I would like for Zach to tell us what the fuck we are drinking today.
Oh, from the Stitzel Weller Distilling Company.
Stitzel Weller.
Blade and Bow.
Oh, Blade and Bow, yeah.
And I
Love it.
heard you have a interesting story about Blade and Bow. No?
Yeah, so I went to the distillery. So Blade
Also,
and
before you start, is this a twit? It's
No,
got
it's
a cork in it.
It's a pull off. Just
Okay.
first of all, I
Okay.
can't wait to fucking drink this. I've been
Is
waiting.
it good?
Yeah, it's delicious. I mean, it's good. So is it good? So it's a Kentucky brand. It's the home of Bullet Bourbon. So many people know and drink Bullet in their local bars. And Bullet hit the scene a few years back and kind of made a splash in the craft market.
It's the main. It's
No
the
pun
main,
intended there.
Isn't it the main whiskey in
splash.
on Yellowstone? Oh my God.
Oh yeah. They did get a Yellowstone spot, and I think that is what they drank. That's right. I remember seeing it when I watched that 3 episodes that I watched. Right. Yeah, Bullet. They've got a couple of them in there, a couple little Kentucky bourbons. I wonder if they're all Stitzel Weller products. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't watch the
back
show
and
enough. Yeah, we can go back and watch. Matter of fact,
Pretty good show.
I've heard we watched a couple seasons of it, and like anything, I lost interest in television. Don't have any time for that fake ass bullshit. But I did like parts of it where it is kind of taking over communities and shit, which I think kind of applies to real life. Anyhow, Stitzel Weller, this Blade and Bow. Stitzel Weller was like an old school pre-prohibition bourbon distillery. And then they came back, they shut it down for 50 years or whatever. And they left an undisclosed amount of bourbon in the barrels. So years and years later, they came back, prohibition was lifted. They bought this shit. In the warehouses, they found this old pre-prohibition bourbon. And they add it to this bottle. So this is a blend, and in this blend is pre-prohibition distilled and aged since then bourbon.
Like, how much do they put in there? Like a dropper?
Yeah,
Full?
that was my question. I basically, first of all, let's get before we hop into to the episodes and shit. Let's start with whiskey. One thing everyone needs to understand about whiskey is that it's a story business, and everyone said, like a lot of bourbon people and whiskey people, they understand that. Like they say they understand that, but understand that what you're being told is a fucking story. Like it's a story. It's a written story, like a storybook. Oftentimes, it's like based on a true story.
It's like a fishing story.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like a fishing story, right?
So it's not really, it doesn't matter how much is in here. It's the story you can tell
It's
as you're
in
drinking.
there.
Dude,
That's all that matters.
It gets you to the table to talk about
It's
it.
a fucking marketing ploy. So, I mean, you can count how many times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What are you counting?
Yeah,
I'm counting how many times it said Stitzel-Weller on this fucking bottle.
Oh.
Like, this is the only Stitzel-Weller product that they're selling, and they're putting it in. I asked, like, okay, well, what happens when you run out of it? And the girl looked at me, and she just went, we won't run out. And I'm like, what do you mean you won't run out? She's like, I don't know how much they have, but I'm told we're not going to
We're
run
not
out.
concerned
We're
about that.
not concerned about running out. So
That's great.
I don't know, honey. I don't know if the answer is a drop or
Eventually
whatnot, but
zero.
Yeah.
And you're still going to drink it thinking there's some in
I
it.
think it's safe to assume that they're taking a drop and
like
putting it
literally
in,
with a dropper, like
and putting it in a batch of fucking 400 barrels. or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
so it's not even one drop per bottle.
if I had to guess, bro, I don't know. It's all labeling and the TTD.
It's a cool story, though.
Yeah, it's a story nonetheless. And it doesn't fucking matter what's in it, because that's another thing people need to understand when they're drinking, fine distilled spirits is, who gives a shit what you're drinking? You either like it or you don't. And even if it's known as the best, most rare, allocated, hard to find, expensive shit, like, you might not like it,
Right.
because everyone's palate's different. And, if you just brushed your teeth, I can tell you right now, you're going to like it a whole lot less. So don't brush your teeth before you drink a fine distilled spirit, number one, because it's going to taste like shit. Number two, don't worry, don't judge a book by its cover or its story inside the cover. See what I did there? The cover of the story and then the story
Nice.
inside. Don't judge a product by its cover. Drink the fucking whiskey. See if you like it. And if you like it and it's $19.99, you hit the fucking jackpot. Because when you really start to like shit and it's $199.99,
Yeah.
you didn't hit the
You
jackpot.
got expensive taste.
You got expensive taste, right? But anyway, so before we get started on the rest of the show, I want to introduce the formats that we finally put some order to and broke down the chaos. And of course, we made it appropriate for the theme of our show, which is built on what I created as my purpose. I know I share many purposes with my wife, and my friends Zach and Ian also share many of those same purposes, which is why they are also a part of the show. So we took our purposes, broke them down, and made them into themes. So, of course, we have whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom as we started the show and start the show with every single show. So the first format, we have 4 formats. First of all, whiskey we talk about on every show. So whiskey is a part of all 4 of the other formats. The first format is business, which is basically a Q&A. This is where we take questions from our friends. Sometimes we take questions that are brought to us in real life.
But Matt, can whiskey not have its own show?
Oh God, we tried whiskey having its own show, and it
What happened to that show, Matt?
we hated it.
We should change the intro to drinking whiskey and talking friends.
Yeah,
Bus-
but
I don't even
oftentimes
know. Business, friends, family, freedom.
It's we've said it for so
Listen,
long. You can't take it out of it.
you fuckers are interrupting me. I'm trying to introduce the formats of our show for the first time to the world, and I can't even get through. I didn't even get through
Did you expect?
the
What'd you
non-form.
expect?
I mean, nothing, no less from you, honey. I expected you to be quiet and obedient as usual, and you were. Good job. I'm proud of you and thankful to have you.
Obedient. Yes, sir.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, master.
That's right.
Oh no!
No, it's not. You're not.
Don't short that.
Yes, yes. Oh, you can short that. My wife, the reason why we have such a great marriage is because she's obedient.
I mean,
Short that. I'm sure that'll fucking blow the internet up. Anyhow, So back to business. We've got 4 formats: business, friends, family, and freedom. The business format is essentially a Q&A format, and that's where we take questions from the audience. Sometimes people send them into our direct messages on our socials. Sometimes they show up in the form of comments. Sometimes I get them directly on text messages, or our group brings them in and we say, that'd be a great thing. It's helpful. A lot of times when I do Q&A, I get phone calls all week long from my friends and associates and employees and team members and family asking me for help or guidance through something that's going on in their life. And then if I find that they found some sort of value in it, maybe it's something we'll bring up. But anyhow, we take questions that we field from the audience of some sort, and then we come here and answer them and try and help people understand what it takes to be successful. That's the business, basically a Q&A format. The next format is friends. Friends is where we have basically us 4, where we're talking shit about current events. Sometimes we have guest hosts on, which are just our friends that come in. We talk about what's going on in the world, how it relates to us, and usually we spin that back to freedom, just like everything else. And then our next is family. Family is where my wife and I will sometimes do marriage episodes where we'll talk about our intimate relationship and details of such, or Zach and Jordan will join us. And then maybe someday we'll have other badass couples that have really great marriages that we think should be revered and have value to give. And hopefully someday we'll be bringing on some of our other family members, our kids, and doing some other shit in the family section. And then freedom. Freedom is our 4th format. And that's where we have guests. Typically, this is where I and Zach will interview a guest. We'll talk about their purpose and how that relates to freedom. And we do that because I believe that without purpose, that there is no true freedom. And without individual purpose, we will all lose our fundamental rights to true freedom and eventually become purposeless slaves in a tyrannical power system that will be fucking terrible for our future and our children's future to come. So, freedom is that section. And then, of course, we have a bonus, which I know I said 4, but there is 5. The 5 is the bonus. And that's essentially when I get on by myself and rant and talk shit about whatever it is that I want to talk about or whatever I feel is important at that time. Typically, it's because no one else is available or schedule conflicts, truth be told, schedule conflicts come up and we need to fill some airspace. And then I say, yes, I get to talk to myself uninterrupted. I don't have to answer to anybody. I get to talk shit, and then Ian has to edit it.
So this is basically like every other episode we've ever aired.
Do you feel that that's the
No,
case?
I'm fucking with you, dude.
Damn. I'm like, fuck, if that's the case, maybe I should
It's like you cut me deep, Shrek.
Well, if that's the case, you guys could just head on out.
Yeah, you're the main.
I'll just take care of it.
No, we can't. We need to get cardboard cutouts of them first.
No, listen, what Zach is... Oh, that'd be awesome. Like a flat Lindy and a flat Zach.
They'll do the same thing.
Yes. You guys can just sit there fucking quietly while I yell at
Make
everything.
mine nod its head every once in a while.
Yeah.
Agreement.
Dude,
Yes.
I can get controls under the table and...
We can just do the Home Alone thing where I could tie a string to
Oh,
it,
yeah,
and
Ian can control it. Duh. Of course, that would
And I
be
just
great.
sit here and go,
Listen, they're saying this and they're talking mad shit because as my close friends know, and of course now everyone who listens to the show knows, I have a problem. I have a fucking problem. I'm a shitty listener. I have a loud, obnoxious personality. I'm super fucking opinionated, and I rarely keep them to myself. Actually, if you knew how many fucking opinions I keep to myself,
Oh man,
it would blow your mind.
ooh.
Not from you.
Well, we
I
heard
tell
about
you.
the eyeshadow, so that's...
Honey,
Oh my god.
oh,
That
dig. You brought that on the
Wow.
show?
You're used
She's
to-
that's eating at her right now.
God, duh.
I know. I just don't feel myself. I thought it might be...
It looks much better now. Maybe it wasn't all the way.
Blended.
Yeah, nice
Blah.
save.
Yeah.
Nice save, Matt.
exactly.
Well, it looks much better now.
Thanks.
So
I
whatever
wiped it
you
all-
did,
I wiped it all off.
well, you look beautiful as always.
Oh.
Listen, in my defense, I prefer you without makeup. I think you are one of, a select few women in
There's
this
the
world
save.
that are absolutely beautiful without makeup. I prefer you without makeup. But if you make, whatever
And
makes
gentlemen, that's how you stay married right there.
you, whatever
Take
makes
notes.
you, whatever makes you feel happy, honey.
Thank you.
Do it.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, you brought it up.
It
What
was-
they're talking about is my inability to listen. I'm working on it. That's why I started a podcast, because I'm working on becoming a better listener. So I figured I would record myself, and then I would review how shitty of a listener I am weekly, sometimes several
And
times
then
a
you
week.
go, Ian, listen to this 30 times and edit it.
Oh, it's the worst. Can you believe that? Ian has to listen to this shit over and over again.
In your defense, people want to hear you. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
you
have
have
a sexy voice, Matt.
So you've been
you
told.
have all the
So when we
you
listen,
can voice your opinions in a better manner than most.
you mean like a
Like a
asshole, like a ragey asshole?
You
it
said it,
draws
not me.
attention.
Listen, this isn't even really me. This is just all acting for the show. I do this for you all for entertainment, so you should Venmo me at Matty Live 333.
Matt's actually a nerdy gamer.
That's
as
right.
soon as we get off here, he gets on my
right.
editing station in games.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I don't have Venmo, so
Oh yeah, we found this out a couple episodes ago. You're fucking banned.
you got
You're
PayPal.
gonna-
I'll send you some.
I was gonna
PayPal.
say, what can you get on? Can you cash at me?
Everything else. Yeah, I
Everything.
can
It's
cash
only
app.
Venmo.
It's only Venmo.
Turned out to be a great short.
Yeah, did it?
PayPal.
Good.
Great is another.
Yeah, was it a great one?
Debatable.
Was it a banger, or was it kind of did it fall
Are we
flat?
talking about on a Matt Lindy level or a Zach level?
We're not talking about the Matt and
Probably
Lindy.
about an
that,
average for me.
It was an average Zach level. Yeah.
that Lindy level hitting them tens of millions.
I don't say anything.
You
that
congrats by the
groundbreaking.
way you officially hit 5,
Thank you.
and you are crushing her in likes now.
Yeah,
like
but
it's not even close.
You know what Lindy says? Yeah, but you were talking about me. True that, bro. Yeah, she
True
talks
that.
mad shit. It's true though. Lindy knows how to draw a crowd. I know how to piss everybody off. So, Lindy draws the crowd. I piss them off. That's how this relationship
vicious
works. Yeah,
cycle.
it's a vicious cycle. Go
and
make
then
us
everyone
more friends.
just breezes right over my shorts.
and
so.
Zach and I are just the two that stayed.
Very vanilla.
I didn't. Yeah.
Well, get amped up.
I need to say more controversial.
You need to
things,
stop being
apparently.
such a Democrat.
Oh yeah.
And if you
what it
stop
is.
being such a Democrat, you'd get more likes.
I'm just not as opinionated as you, so that's why you are you and I am me. And
But
that's-
you're 5 inches taller and have a jaw that you can see without a beard. So, congratulations. You're a handsome devil.
you'll get there.
How that works.
I don't think so, homie. I think the days of my potential jawline are gone. So, I now have to cover it with a long beard. So, here we go on that. Anyway, all right. So let's get started. This is the business format, which is a Q&A. Zach and Ian have put together some questions with a little bit of assistance. Full disclosure, I know what at least one of these questions are. We know what some of them are, but we'll act surprised on those. We'll see. Either way, I don't have to act surprised because
Do I know which ones you know? I don't even know if I know which ones you know.
well, it's a whole big fucking mess of a blob now. So it doesn't matter either way because it's going to be a surprise.
Guess we'll find
In fact,
out.
you might not even ask me the one that I thought I knew. So
Maybe I'll just throw some curveballs.
I'm going to be
in there.
fucking pissed if the one that I know doesn't show up. But lay it on us. What's our first question? Let's get fired up.
First one, Matthew.
Oh, is the question specifically for me on this first one, or
No,
is
no,
it
no.
for okay?
Whoever.
Doesn't matter. All right, rock on.
Whatever. But you're really the only one building and scaling a business right now, which I guess we all kind of are in this regard. But in your personal life,
Let's go.
what motivates you to keep going? So we talked before about you never feeling satisfied, which I think is a different answer, though. Like what?
Yeah,
Because
definitely
you
a different answer.
deal with a lot,
Yeah.
and I
deal with
think
a lot.
I think a normal, an average person probably would hit a certain point and be like, "This just isn't worth it anymore." You know
Sure.
what I mean? So what gets you past that point? I'm assuming you never get to the point where you think it's been enough and you want to quit. But
Dude, I'm not even
Keep
sure
going.
if this is the one that I think
that I
thought I
you
know.
thought I thought
Because
you
I
knew?
feel like the fucking answer was in my brain. It's the same, but maybe they're all the same. I don't know. All right. So
I
the
put a little
question
twist
is,
on it. So
the question is, what keeps me motivated to keep going?
What keeps you going?
What keeps me going?
What motivates you to keep going?
Okay, what keeps me going? It's a pretty fucking easy answer. I'm trying to think of how to complicate it and how to blow it up for the theatrics of the show, but it's pretty simple, I think. I don't have a fucking choice. Number one. Number two, I put my own back against the wall constantly and have put my own back against the wall constantly for the last 15 years. So what keeps me going? The fact that I left myself no other fucking choice. I make bets on myself that require I either keep going or I fucking implode. So I take risks, what normal people, risk-averse people would consider high-level risks, or never even a fucking option type of risk. And then I fight my way out of the risk. So I don't have a choice but to keep going. But if we dove deep into what the whole meaning behind this show, and we dove into a next level of what keeps me going, it is a level of fear that I use as energy to take me to the next level. And what I mean by that is, this is a scary ass world. I mean, fuck, we had Sullivan on last show. Just talking, the financial system, the crazy ass world we live in. And ultimately what keeps me going is the protection of my purpose, man. I've got to keep going. I've got to do everything I can in my fucking power so I can go to sleep at night knowing that if shit hits the fan and if shit goes south and the world collapses or implodes, I did everything that I could as a fucking man, as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a son, as a brother, as a businessman, as an employer, to protect and position myself to protect my people and my purposes. So what keeps me going, man, I don't even understand how people don't have that a lot of the times. But I think it's because they show up to the world as purposeless. I mean, what keeps you going? What keeps you going? It's probably the same shit for anyone that's going.
And you can relate that to anything. Like, I'm not building a business, but I get a lot of shit from some people about like fitness wise, like, because I go to the gym, I work out, I do marches and run and all that shit. And the question is why a lot of the times. And it's for that exact reason. Like if shit hits the fan, what kind of position are you going to be in to defend yourself or fight back? Or it could be as simple as we all have daughters. Like when she starts dating, do you want to be that dad where the dude looks at you and like, oh, fuck that dude up, man? Something as simple as that,
Right.
Just find whatever purpose. If it's not as big as that, it doesn't have to be.
That's right.
Find something to force yourself to continue to get better and grow every day.
Yeah, dude. A quick intro for Lindy to answer the question. So the audience knows, and for fucking everyone, for you might know, you guys all know, but dude, Lindy and I are totally different. We are complete opposites. A true, yeah, right? Yeah, for our regular listeners, like, oh, really? You guys are different? For my friends, God, they probably wonder how the fuck we even stay together, let alone enjoy each other.
No, you guys are the epitome of opposites attract.
Yes.
The epitome of opposites attract, and I use that to my advantage. I overthink things. I overcomplicate things. I dig way too deep. Sometimes I completely bypass surface level, or I'm so fucking far in the clouds that I can't even see surface level of problems and issues. So I'll go to Lindy with something that I'm trying to figure out for days or weeks or hours or whatever, and I'll be like, honey, I need you to talk me through this. Like, here's my situation. Here's what's going on. What do you think? And she'll come out with just like
Blech.
simple ass, like, well, why don't you just do that? I'm like, well, fucking shit. Never thought of that. Like, that makes perfect sense. So I go to Lindy as an advisor, and I think that works so well because she offers up such a vastly different perspective on mostly everything. And it's usually very down to earth, very easy, simple.
Because I do not think things through at all. I don't hardly think about.
For whatever reason it is, it's just the fucking opposite of what I do. Right. So it gives me a total contrast and a total opposite perspective. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's no fucking help. But I'm curious to know how you'll answer this. What motivates you to keep you going? I mean, you've got a super hard job. You have to deal with me. You not necessarily are building these businesses, but every single ounce of bullshit I get us into, you got to deal with.
I think it just comes down to trust 100%. Like, I know you're not going to steer us down the wrong direction. I think 100% is trust. And I'm like, so far he knows what he's doing. You know, the last 20 years we haven't had a problem yet. I mean, we've had several problems, but success wise and growing wise, we've stepped back. In those times that we stepped back, I knew it would be okay because of trust.
So it is trust that motivates you to keep going?
I think so. Like, I don't worry about you. I don't worry about our future like you do. You worry every single day.
Fuck, man, that's an
But I just know if I
trust is
if
what
I
keeps you
do
going.
what I need to do.
So what keeps you going is just me? Your trust in me? So
No.
now I gotta fucking carry
God
that burden?
damn it.
God damn it, Lindy.
No, so if I feel like if I keep going and I do what I need to do for the kids, for the house, for all of that.
Oh, just kind of trusting the process.
Yes.
All right.
And then you are
She
able.
trusts the roles,
You are
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, you are able to do what you need to do to protect us and protect your purpose. You know?
And almost in a way, it kind of seems like
I like that.
you guys essentially have each other to keep going as well. Like essentially she has you to help know that you have the other half and you're going to keep going and that's going to keep her going as well.
Dude.
We often joke about how alike my wife is to you and how alike me and Lindy are together. Me and Lindy are alike. And we joke about how it would be if like you and my wife were together and me and Lindy were together and how that dynamic probably wouldn't work
Would never
overall.
work.
Oh, hell no.
Because
Would never.
you guys would be working your asses off and never see each other. Me and Lindy wouldn't be getting shit done over here. We'd be binging Netflix shows all
You
day.
guys be
Probably homeless
I'm like, we might be homeless.
or
be
in a
tired.
lot of debt.
sleepy.
But I kind of play that same role for my wife because she does the same thing, like overthinks things,
Sure.
and she'll ask me, and I'll give her an answer. She's like, "Man, that makes perfect sense, actually," So it's
Yeah.
the dynamics are.
That's great though, because I mean, you guys
It's just
just
the way
in
I-
relationships, you guys get to balance each other out. You're each other's yin and yang. You
Dude.
know?
It's just how our brains work. Like our brains are so vastly different. Like everything is so simple to me. Everything in every aspect of life. Him, like you said, he overthinks, overcomplicates, So I feel like it just meets right in the middle. And
But yeah, both have a time and a place for sure. I mean, one's not better than the other in any means, but
I had a friend, another business owner. Actually, so this week I've had, matter of fact, I could have filled those fucking Q&A questions all the way up. Now that I think about it, I've had a week where I'm doing a couple business deals. I'm a part of some other shit. And then of course my day-to-day businesses, plus my employees, my staff. I've had a week where it's been nonstop. My phone blowing up of people that seemingly are having a shitload of problems and they're looking, for me to kind of guide them and help them and coach them, mentor them, whatever, which I appreciate. Number one, it's kind of my thing. I use that as, it's been a tough week for me too, because I've got a shitload of my own problems going on. But like any good leader, like part of what growth is, you're either taking one of three positions in my life. I'm either helping you grow, you're helping me grow as a mentor, or we're a peer where we're doing shit together. Like those are the three roles, and all three play a major role. So I had a friend who called me. I'll keep his name and his whole story out of it, but ultimately he's going through some shit, and I kind of concluded the conversation with, and if you call me, expect me to ask these fucking questions because I don't hold anything back. I'll ask you about your finances, your fucking personal life, your sex life, your mental health, your financial well-being, because all of that shit is relevant. And if I'm trying to help you solve a problem in business, but your marriage is fucked up, like your business might not be the problem. So I ended this conversation with this gentleman with, hey, how's your relationship with your wife right now? And he was like, it's okay.
yeah, that's a bad answer.
Yeah, it's okay. And essentially what the and the okay rather than it's doing well was, I've spent a little time with her. I've gotten to spend a little time recently, but I'm so caught up in this and I'm so stressed and blah, and I'm going, yeah, motherfucker, I know this story, but here's the difference. And here's what the advice I told him was, the harder shit gets for you, lean further and closer and further and closer into your wife. The more scared you are, the more stressed you are, the more fucked up shit is, lean further and closer and closer and closer into your spouse. Because, like I just alluded to, sometimes leaders need a leader. And my wife is my leader sometimes. Sometimes I just need her to support. And I mean, we could do the raise your hand if you like it. You like helping people solve problems, but every decent leader does. I mean, that's kind of the foundation of leadership and helping people grow. So if you give your opportunity to your wife or your husband to help you and be a leader, it will fill their bucket. You're giving an opportunity to your partner to be a leader when it's most necessary. And if that person can become a leader and they're leading you when you're down, like, drop your guard, lean in. And my advice to him was, dude, as shitty as it can get, double down on your relationship with your wife. Double down on your relationship, ladies, with your husbands. Push closer and closer to it because of the concept of two leaders lifting each other up. We call it holding space. I got that term from, well, several people use it since, but Sean, when I go down a dark alley, man, Lindy cannot follow me. She has to stay put. She then has to be a leader, and she can't come follow me down that fucking dark path. And if I'm shitty to her, it's going to happen. So I've got to be able to, like we've talked about also, the 5 dysfunctions. The bottom of the pyramid is trust. I've got to be able to trust that I'm going to go to my wife and be whatever I am, and she's going to be able to engage with me and not be afraid of that conflict, not be afraid to help dig me out of that so we can get the results at the end.
Not take it personally.
And not take, right. Just help me. So lean further into your spouses and your wife and your relationship, man. I'm telling you, it will change. This is a business episode, but for those of you who are married, like, that's what the fuck that means. Leaning into your spouse and helping one another lift each other up when the other is down.
This is, it's funny you brought that up, man, because that is something I am currently in the process of learning how to do, is not take things personally when she's had a bad day at work or things aren't going the way she thought they were. Because she'll come home, in a mood as anybody would, and say something or do something, and I'll immediately just take it personal. But I have to, like, step back and be like, that's not the problem. We need to focus on
that's not you, bro.
Right.
The finances might be wrong that month. The workload might be wrong. A deal didn't close. This didn't. You lost something.
As an entrepreneur, man, as you know, there's a lot of pressure.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I have unfairly put a lot of pressure on her to perform and do, which she doesn't deserve. She's obviously working her ass off and doing great, but I've had to kind of stop myself and be like, she's, okay, things weren't great that month. That's going to happen. Obviously, in recruiting, we know there's ebbs and flows and cash flows the same way, right? So I've had to take a step back and realize, I don't need to put that pressure on her. She's already doing it herself.
Yep.
I'm sure of it. She doesn't need me to push back. She needs me to pull her back in and make things better, not worse. So.
And from another perspective, dude, I'm happy that hit home for you, because I didn't realize it. And that's where, kind of as we entered this show, like, I take these things throughout my weeks and days. And when people are like, holy shit, dude, I never thought about it like that. Thank you so much. Like, I should post them.
Even you, when you go down a dark path afterwards, you're like, how do you deal? How did you do that with me?
Yeah, how the fuck
did
you remain
it's so easy for me to just know this is not the real you. Like, this is not, you're having a bad month, a bad week, or whatever shit's going wrong. And I know that it's going to be okay, like, in the long run or whatever.
Yeah. She's the fucking best. Yeah, man. She does. She holds space. And even when we've talked about this too. I mean, be quick to apologize. Don't mistake this for an excuse to just go be a fucking asshole and bring your stresses home and expect your spouse, your husband or your wife or whatever to to sit there and deal with you being a fucking asshole than be like, well, it's just work. You need to be tolerant.
There's a fine line.
There's a fine line. And I also, and Jordan also needs to and have to, and we are working on ourselves. Like, holy shit. I did it to Ian today. He went to ask me a question about Lindy's bullshit and her army bullshit. And he's like, so whatever that was. And I said, dude, I didn't even get the sentence out yet. He was like, nope, never mind. You're right. Let's move on. Because it's going to flip my mood. Like, be conscious, be aware of what's going to fucking bury your mood. You've been telling me for years, because I'll latch onto something. Most of us do that. We latch onto something. It'll ruin a day. It'll ruin a week.
Well, Matt, yeah, like the second you started stopping me, I'm like, oh shit, it's podcast day. Yep, stop, Matt.
Yep.
You're good. You don't even explain
Right.
yourself. I don't want to bring those vibes to the podcast, bud.
And that's a relationship that Ian and I are working on, basically. He's trying to make sure that this show goes well, the energy is right, our mindsets are right. I mean, this is a real fucking mindset game. You
don't
there
think
are
about
no
that.
Yeah, there are no bad moods when you come to podcast. Well, every mood's a bad mood for me, but you got to bring a certain level of fucking positivity, of energy, and when we enter this studio, sometimes I got a lot of shit going on out there that isn't what I want. I've got issues. I've got problems. We've got problems, but Ian's trying to control that. And I'm trying to control my energy also. And that is something that he recognized. Nope, it is not that serious. Husband and wife team should be doing that as well. When I come home, I should be able to, and I'm working on it, be able to say, how was your day? I don't want to talk about my day. In fact, let's fuck this day. Instead of me being on defense and attacking. Like, I need to learn, and I am learning to control my own behaviors. Lindy needs to learn to control her own behaviors. Zach needs to learn to control his, so on and so forth. And if we're all working together, this shit's pretty fucking easy. Like, overcoming challenges becomes a pretty simple thing.
Real quick, I just want to add something to what you just said, because it's beautiful. And this can pertain to business, but it was in regards to how you said about your relationship, is the fact that you guys have been married for 15 whatever years. Yeah. And you said you are still learning. You're still trying. Like
14 years.
14 years. I rewound myself there. But that you're still learning, because you just said I'm still I don't remember how you said it, but I love that. Because with everything in life, business, relationship, you're always learning.
Bro, it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
100%.
When you stop working on yourself,
no
for your
way.
relationship,
She gone.
Yeah, it's done.
She gone. No,
gone.
man, it's constant. It's constant work. We are constantly doing work on we talk about it on the marriage podcast. Constantly doing work on my marriage. Constantly doing work on myself.
This is a full circle to what the question is. To how you keep going. You're always working. Dude.
It's always
business, relationship, everything in life. It's never enough. It's never stopping. Like, okay, we're good. We can cruise control. You're always trying to improve your life, your marriage, your business, your kids, everything.
Dude, I'm always serving and protecting my purpose. We've got more coming out with the Find Your Purpose, Serve Your Purpose, and Protect Your Purpose meanings, mentalities, processes, how to do what it is that we're explaining on the regular, weekly. If you're in my life, it's fucking daily. We're constantly working on it, serving and protecting our purpose. So that's it, dude. It's purpose. It's purpose. Purpose. Let's get to the next question, because we're 30 plus minutes deep.
I forgot we were doing a
We're
Q&A.
fucking doing a Q&A. What is the next question? I feel like we're going to answer them all before you ask them if we don't get going.
All right, Matt, Lindy, Ian,
Zach, see what I did
so
there?
a lot of young entrepreneurs, right? Probably look at like Gary Vee, Andy Frisella, people like that, who all they talk about is the grind, work. So with that being said, how have you prevented like burnout? Like, just
How have
lighting the candle and letting it run till it's out? Because if you listen to a lot of those, that's the answer. You work 24 or 23 hours a day, sleep 1, and build your business for 10 years. A lot of people aren't going to be able to maintain that level of work ethic.
How do I prevent burnout? I don't.
I feel like more risks you take, the more motivated you get. Like, if you were to plateau and just stay where you're at, you would. Like, I feel like it's the.
Yeah.
Can I reword that question? How do you deal with burnout? Because you don't prevent burnout. Burnout happens.
All right.
how do you deal with burnout?
All right, we'll take that question
That's
better.
what did I say?
Yeah, that I deal with burnout. Dude, it's fucking hard. Like, that's how. It's fucking hard. And if you don't want to burn out, don't get into entrepreneurship. And if you do, just stay small and be a self-proprietor type, small entrepreneurial business where you work for yourself and you have, you own a job and you don't work for the man, so to speak, but you get to kind of control your own flow. Enough is enough. We've talked about that on previous shows too. I'm the kind of guy where enough is never enough. So I was talking to my mom the other day and I told her, like, hey, I did this to me. I was actually talking to my brother the other day too, and I jokingly told him, I didn't choose this life, Mike. This life chose me. But the real reality is as I started this show with, the first question, I put myself into a corner and then fight my own way out of it. I create my own burnout. So at the end of the day, how do I deal with it? Number one, I stay very, very in tune and in touch with the fact that these are all self-inflicted wounds. Most of what I do, I've created as a problem. And most of the problems I create are because I didn't think all the way through something and spend time trying to overthink something and making sure I didn't have any problems. Meanwhile, the fucking world is past. All the successful people are burning by me. It is what it is. Burnout's just part of the game. I can give you some fancy, fun answer like work-life balance and this and that. The answer is, dude,
Myth, dude.
Definitely not vacations.
Yeah. No, vacations are the fucking worst. Vacations create more burnout. Because
get more shit to do when you get back.
Yeah, you get burnt out. Now you're behind. Now you're fighting an uphill battle instead of being on flat ground. Now I'm going into a gunfight with a knife and I'm unprepared, and that makes it worse.
But then happy wife, happy life. So fuck.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Exactly. It's all that. And
we're doing all the cliches in one fucking
dude.
We need more of that, Lindy, right there. I really enjoyed that.
How do you deal with it? That's how you deal with it, man. You find the fucking joy. You find the peace. In the Army, the MRT stuff, they say hunt the good stuff.
Embrace the suck.
Embrace the
another
suck,
fucking
bro.
Army.
Yep. Embrace the suck and really dive deep into that and think about what that actually means to find. There's good in everything. I mean, God is good. We're another day above ground. As of now, we still have at least the perception of freedom. We still have some chances to become successful and live the American dream. My children are all healthy. I always kind of compare myself to somebody who's in a shittier situation when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling burnt out and when I'm feeling like I want to quit. And then it dawns on me that, man, it could be way fucking worse.
Things could be worse.
Things could be worse.
Always.
But I think ultimately, again, going full circle back, ultimately what digs me out is helping other people. When you feel like you are burnt out and when you feel like you can't go one more fucking inch and when you feel like you can't go another day or you're on the brink of collapse or quitting or giving up and someone calls you who's in a shitty situation and you can give them a life experience that helps them through, it revitalizes, it re-energizes me. It gives me the opportunity to be a leader. And now I've taken this role where I said, hey, I helped this person through. Take your own fucking advice, you asshole, and get your head in the game and push through. Use that energy, convert it into positive energy and use it to catapult you to the next level.
Long story short, you shouldn't, if you feel like you have to deal with burnout, you probably shouldn't be running and scaling a big business because you can't really take time off. Like you said, if you take time off, there's 2 times as much work when you get back.
Dude, it's a burnout, but like if you want to grow to multiple million, 10 million, 20 million. Yeah. I mean, you want to go to 7 figures, 8 figures, 9-figure businesses, like fuck your burnout, dude. It's not even a thing.
Well, it's also what Lindy said earlier, like it will pass. Like, yes, right now you're down in that trench. You're in that suck.
Yep.
That suck's going to pass.
Yep.
Yes, will burnout happen again 100% because you're not going to stop. You're going to keep going.
That's right.
So more suck's going to come. But this suck right now, it'll pass.
This too shall pass, man.
That suck will get worse.
Yeah, and that suck will get worse. But again, I can't stress this enough. Like, understanding that you did this to yourself and understanding that, I mean, I just had to tell Brooke, and I started to touch on that earlier with finding comfort and having someone to go to unleash. I mean, I've got members of my leadership team, my wife, I've got friends, like having someone that you can just haul off, like you could just fucking scream at when you need to just get energy out. A lot of times it's just thinking through shit to get to the end result of this will be okay. And odds are when it's all said and done, it will be worth it. And when it's all said and done, you will be stronger on the other end. Like that one dude, Take to Jump, that kid.
There was a one time in particular a couple months ago where I think for the first time in my life was very concerned that you weren't going to get through it. And now 2 months, 3 months later, it's like it never even happened.
It's like it did happen. We're just in a better position. We fucking grew from it. Yeah. Though I'm telling you, this is the thing. The harder it is, it's like a new rite of passage. Like if you're in business or even you're like anything you're going through that you're trying to grow, the fucking harder it is, the better it is on the other end of that. Just like the kid told me. 100%. Yeah, dude, it's a breakthrough. You've got to go through that to get through, to level up to the next level. Like it's like it's like at the end of a level on a video game where you've got to fight the boss that takes 50 million energy powers to get through them. Well, you can't get to the next castle if you don't fight that boss. So when you're going through some shit, dude,
but there's a princess on the other side.
So life is life is like Super Mario.
Yes,
is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, man. And the next level, I could tell you, just like any other video game or Super Mario or whatever, the next level's fucking harder.
Hey, real
So if you
question.
think shit's gonna get easier as shit goes on, you're wrong. It's gonna get harder.
Is that the last video game you ever played? Because that's a very dated reference.
I
didn't have any other examples.
Actually, the movie just came out, so it's actually a very end date reference right now.
True. However.
You're wrong. And I did it because I'm so hip.
Yeah, right.
And I'm so in tune.
He plays Fortnite all the time.
Has any hip person ever said, "I'm so hip"?
I'm so rad. Yes, that is probably the last video game, but I am familiar with Fortnite and Genshin.
Minecraft. Genshin? What?
Yep. Yeah, don't worry about my Genshin skills.
Can you show us a Fortnite dance, Matt?
No, one of our babysitters is she's actually like a voice actress. Like she has her own character in this game, so I learned all about it from her. It's pretty badass.
Genshin?
Yeah. It's called Genshin. Ian knows about it, right?
Called Genshin Impact, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like
she's a badass.
Is that like a Fortnite knockoff or what's the
No,
what's the premise?
I've never played it, but it's an online game that people play together, and it's a massive
like
game.
World of Warcraft type.
Yeah, I'd say it's more like that.
Listen,
than Fortnite.
I'm sorry. I think we started this conversation with you questioning my video game skills while you're getting educated.
I haven't heard of Genshin.
I think
so
you
you're
owe us
one up
all
on
an
me
apology.
There.
That's right.
Matt, I'm sorry.
And Fortnite.
I didn't realize you were so hip.
You are forgiven. I told you I was fucking hip. You just didn't believe me. Anyway, what is the next fucking question? Let's move on.
So this is a personal one, apparently.
Oh.
So I'm trying to grow my business, and I'm running out of money and feel like I'm running out of time.
Don't take a loan.
Is this normal? Or what do I do to get through it?
Repeat the question because Ian interrupted yourself.
I'm trying to grow my business, and I'm running out of money and feel like I'm running out of time. Is this normal, and what do I do to get through it? Shut the shit down.
Dude, I think that goes right along with the rest of the podcast on this episode. I'm running out of money and I feel like I'm running out of time. Join the club. Join the fucking club. I'm running out of money and I'm running out of time. And my advice to this person would be, first and foremost, understanding that like the no shit. Like, yeah. Yep. Me too.
You always feel like you're against
Me
the clock.
too. Yep. You're always up against the clock. There's never enough time and there's never enough money. And if you're growing, then that is the position you will be in. And if you are getting to the next level, it will always feel like that until the day you decide that enough is enough and you don't want to grow anymore, where you can even out and plateau your business to where you can control your flow better, in which case you become complacent, stagnant, growth stops. But there's a certain level of happiness to that.
It's like the old business, Ken, right? Is that his name?
can. Yeah.
He didn't want to be rich, so he was fine with plateauing and just staying there.
That's right. He didn't want to do what it took.
Pay my bills.
Yep. So, yeah, I would say just understanding probably that is so normal. That is so the way it goes. Everyone who is growing a business, with very little exception, and those are people who are very well capitalized, who are on their third, fourth, fifth business. They've had a ton of money to inject cash in, and they don't have that issue, or they're buying their way out of time by, you know, sourcing product or doing whatever so they can kind of manufacture a scenario where they can beat the time requirements for most businesses.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you that 99.765% of the 99.897% of the time, yeah, this is fucking normal. We all feel this way.
And if you don't feel that way, you might be doing something wrong.
You're not taking enough risk.
Bingo. If you don't feel that way, you're not doing it. You're not
growing.
You're not growing. You're not maximizing your full potential. You are scared. That's another great topic to talk about. I mean, a lot of people hold their business. The people I talk to daily. I talk to someone at this day in my life every single day, someone that's asking me some sort of business advice, some sort of scaling or growing advice, be it personal or business, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And if they are not in that situation, if they feel stagnant, my answer to them is do something major. In my markets, in my businesses where I feel like we're falling flat or doing something, you know, we're stagnant or flat or plateaued in a market, we're in a rut, we can't get out of it. I tell my leadership team, we need to do something big. What does that mean? I don't know. But it probably involves risk. It probably involves taking a leap that we otherwise wouldn't do, making ourselves uncomfortable, because when we make ourselves uncomfortable, assuming we're not just doing dumb shit just for the purpose of making ourselves uncomfortable, but if you want to grow to the next level, you've got to go into a discomfort level, and you've got to take some risks. You've got to ultimately put your own back against the wall, create some problems, and fight your way through those problems to get to grow. So if you're not experiencing those things, you're probably not maximizing your full potential. And if you're okay with not maximizing your full potential because you're good where you are, then just be happy. Just do what the fuck you're doing. But if your intent is to grow, get used to that feeling, because we all don't have enough time and we all don't have enough money. I would encourage you to go back and listen to the remainder or the earlier parts of this show where when you're starting to feel like that, lean into your wife, lean into your husband, lean into your purpose, find purpose in what you're doing, and you're sure to power through it, man. Purpose has fucking power. The power of purpose. Read that book, Man's Search for Meaning. It's about literally people using the power of individual personal purpose to survive the Holocaust, the most horrific things that they could possibly imagine. All they were doing was watching people fall off as soon as they would find out their children or their spouse had been sent to the gas chamber or killed. They would watch them decline almost immediately, going from in a good position health-wise to declining and literally die in a matter of days. But the people that survived were the ones that held on to their purpose, that found purpose even in the shittiest of times, dug deep into it. And I'm telling you, man, purpose has power to overcome shit. Power. The question, how do you deal with burnout? What keeps you going? Like, it's fucking purpose. Purpose is what keeps us all going. And anyone who is continuing to go and continuing to power through these awful, challenging, difficult times in their life, those are the people that are purpose driven. I'm fucking telling you, it's people that have and know and have found their purpose. That's how you get through all of this shit.
Boom. Mic drop.
That's a good one.
And also, in a nutshell, if you can't handle burnout or you can't handle the feeling of time running out or not enough money, maybe don't be an entrepreneur. Might not be.
Find your fucking purpose, man. Everybody, every employee, every business owner, every soldier, every every mom, every son, every dad, every daughter, like, you've got purpose. It's there. Identify that shit, and when you ask yourself these questions, zero in on that purpose, man. Do it for somebody else. Do it for something else. Do it for a higher power. Do it for a bigger cause. And that's why we started this show. That's why we're continuing this show through all of its challenges and all of our life's challenges, because we understand the meaning and the power of purpose. We want people to understand that truly, as I kind of mentioned and always allude to, I wholeheartedly believe that purpose, individual purpose, is what will save us from becoming a society of purposeless, energyless, sick, poor slaves to a otherwise tyrannical and psychotic power system in the world or in the country. And I'm telling you, dig deep into your purpose. And I think it could save the world, man, if everyone dug deep into their individual purpose. So there it is. Anyway,
Heyo.
What do you say? You want to wrap this thing?
Time to wrap it.
Good
All right,
talk.
Zach, you close us out.
Nope, I'm good.
You fucker. All right, Lindy,
You're the
close
host.
us out.
Don't try to pass off your host duties.
I only got a couple things to do here.
All right.
As always, people. Go ahead.
Close.
No, let's go together. You do it.
Find
For-
your purpose. Serve your purpose.
I wanted you to say one, you to say one, me to say
Oh,
one.
dang it.
Well,
Cut.
Ian always.
But there's not
Ian,
four.
Ian creepily comes in and goes, remember? All right. Listen, people, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing. It truly means the world to us. And as we mentioned about 15 times on this show and 1,500 times in the last 32 shows, we truly believe this is what's going to make the difference and make or break in our fundamental freedoms and our rights as a society. So please share the show, subscribe, tell your friends about us, smash that like and subscribe
Smash
button.
it.
And as always, find your purpose.
Serve your purpose.
And poor.
Oh, you fucker. And protect your purpose, people. Thank you all for coming. Have a great
It was
rest
right
of your
there.
day. You were
It was
close.
right
You were so
there.
close. You had it, bro.
Protect.
You botched it.
Protect your purpose.
Protect your purpose.